towards the beginning of my mission, things were still pretty slow, but I just got a new companion, and I was excited about the area even though we hadn't been teaching a whole lot. And this new companion was ambitious and wanted to work, and so I was excited about that. And so we set some goals together. We prayed about it, and we felt like we needed to set some goals. And one of the goals that we set multiple goals, but one of them was that we wanted to find 8 people that could be baptized in our time together. And so we set it, and we were willing to go out and work towards that. And so we went out and we were working our tails off, but nothing was happening. And I remember one specific day, probably the first transfer that we were together. We had all these plans and we were all excited, and we go through, and it was like 10 o'clock and already all of our plans had fallen through. Like we had nothing else planned for the rest of the day. And I remember like walking and getting in the car and just feeling so sad that our plans weren't working out and that we weren't reaching our goals that we had together. And so we kind of sat there for a minute, and I remember saying a prayer like, Heavenly Father, we're trying. Please, is there anywhere? Where do you want us to go to find somebody to teach? Because we didn't have anybody to teach at that time, at least no one that was progressing. And then I had a street come into my mind, and I immediately pushed it away. The reason being that my former companion, my trainer, had told me a story, and it may have been him and some other elders, told me a story about this area, and they said that they remembered there being hearing a story about someone going to this area, and someone said, if you come back here, we're going to shoot you, right? And so we were like, okay, and my companion was like, I'm never going over there. Even though we thought we had maybe seen some Hmong people there before, but my companion was like, nope, not going there. And I was like, okay. And so when I got this new companion, I don't think he knew about it, right, this area. And so I had this come to my mind, and I was like, well, my old companion wouldn't go there, but maybe he would. And I was kind of thinking, again, illusions of grandeur, right? I was thinking, well, maybe a gunshot wouldn't be too bad for the ladies after my mission. But anyway, so I decided, well, you know what? We'll just take a chance. We'll go and see what happens, and I won't tell my companion we might get shot. So we drive over, and we get there, and I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling like, oh, we've been led here, right? The Spirit. This was the Spirit telling us to go here. And so we get out, and we walk down the street, and we're looking for Hmong people everywhere, any signs that there are any Hmong people around. And we probably could have knocked doors, but usually we were just looking for Hmong people to teach. And there were no signs of Hmong people anywhere. And I remember we got to the end of the street, and I was like, there's no Hmong people here. We're not going to find anybody to teach here. And we turn around, and we start walking back to the car, and I kind of got my head down like, I thought there was a reason. And right at that moment, when I'm feeling, kind of upset that we even came, I hear from a window these little girls, probably 5 or 6-year-old girls playing, and one of the girls yells out a Hmong word. And I turn to my companion. We both look at each other and like, there's a Hmong person in that house. And so we both turn and we go and knock on the door, and we meet the family. And they ask us to come back another time. We come back another time, and we meet this young girl, or this young adult girl who lived there. And she ended up being the first person I had the experience of helping get baptized on my mission. And then another person there got baptized as well in that same home. And it was just cool to see how we were led there, and how our faith wrought miracles. And if that young girl hadn't said anything, we would have left, right? And so the timing of it was perfect as well. Then after that, we had our goal, right? We wanted to baptize 8 people. We'd only found 2. And we got to the end of our second transfer together, which generally, not always, but generally that's how long we would spend with a companion. And then we would get transferred or switched. And there was only five or 6 Hmong elders, so we usually knew like this, it's not going to be too long before they switch us around. But for some reason we stayed together, and we're like, oh, okay, all right. And so our third transfer, we're like, okay, we got to find 6 people, and we end up going on that whole transfer, and again, nothing happened. It's kind of like our first transfer, and we were kind of bummed, and we're like, oh, all right, well maybe it just wasn't meant to be. Maybe we weren't meant to reach that goal, and that's okay. But then our mission president called and asked me to stay with him one more transfer, stay with this companion one more transfer. He was kind of going through some rough things in his personal life, and I was more than excited to be with him. And so they let us stay together for one last transfer, and on the last day, which happened to be Valentine's Day, a year into my mission, so the anniversary of when I got my mission call, we baptized 6 people. And that was our last day of our 4th transfer together. And so we stayed together for about 6 months, and we were able to help 8 people come into the waters of baptism and come into Christ. And that's an experience I'll never forget. And we were definitely led by the Spirit in many ways together. And so I loved and still love knowing that the Spirit can lead us if we ask God. He can take us where we need to go, and He can help us serve those that He needs us to serve. We can be His hands to lift others. For my second area, so after we baptized 8 people in my first area, my second area I went to was where the branch was in Oroville. And I just immediately fell in love with the branch and those people. They're so incredible. Such incredible people. And I loved working with the youth there, and with the leadership of the branch was just incredible. And so I loved that experience. My new companion, I came in and I told him, hey, me and my last companion, we decided we were going to baptize 8 people together. So let's baptize 9. And my companion, he was a seasoned missionary and a native Hmong speaker as well, was awesome, one of my favorites. And so he was like, all right, let's do it, And so we kind of set that goal together. And we ended up only being together for one transfer, but we found 9 people that later on he was able to come back, and we baptized 9 people at one time in one baptism. And I remember I had forgotten about the goal, right, that we had set. And I remember at the baptism, I was sitting there next to him, and I looked over and I was like, 9. And he was like, oh yeah, 9. And we had found those 9 people together. We started teaching those 9 people together. And so that was kind of cool to see that and that experience.